Welcome to the channel, friends. So this is going to be part 2 of the stealth snorkel system I am installing on the 850 and the XP1000. So part 1 is going to cover the PVT routing of the vent tubes for the intake and exhaust to a higher location. But this video right here is going to be covering just the intake here for the AirBox. Now what I have here is the SYA, or Snorkel Your Own ATV Warrior Plate. I bought this just as a better interface for tubes for the AirBox. Now, as you can see here, I have kind of a shorty setup on here. I didn't run the full tubes to the front and do the whole kind of high riser tubes that you see normally on snorkeled ATVs. I do not like that look. I want to go for a more stealth and a factory look. So this is what I came up with. A lot of time went into kind of dry fitting and figuring all this stuff out. So a lot of good information in this video. So let's start off with, this is a completed AirBox, as you can see here. I will have to do my XP1000 from scratch. So this machine has not been done yet. I've already gone through all the trial and error to get everything to fit right and to look good and to function, most importantly. So I have here the Warrior Plate that I went ahead and silicone down to the AirBox. Now, it's not just that easy. So first I want to describe to you the Polaris AirBox on these machines is not on center line with the center line of the machine. That means you have to mount this plate about 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch to the left of the opening in the AirBox. So you have to extend the opening in order to make this work. Otherwise, you're going to have the factory AirBox covering this side of the port about 3/8 of an inch, which is not good because you're going to have a baffle there and it's not going to produce smooth airflow. So to have smooth airflow, you will have to notch out and open it up about 3/8 of an inch, which I will show you how I am doing it. So not that big of a deal, but it has to be done. That way the machine can breathe much easier without restriction. So once you have cut that out, then you can go ahead and lay out the Warrior Plate. And like I said, it is not on center line with the AirBox is not on center line with the machine. So what that means is, when you go put your body panels on, if you try to center this with the factory opening, you're going to have this thing rotated over like this, and it's going to interfere with this body panel in the top black piece that goes here in the center. So in order to make sure this fits, you have to do the silicone last. So you have to put your body panels on. Once you cut the opening first, very first thing, cut the opening, then kind of get an idea of where you have to place this and do something like put a marker line around the outline of the plate onto the AirBox or something, because you will have to dry fit this first with the side panels on. That way you can center up the intake. So once you have the side panels installed, go ahead and insert and slide in this plate without anything done yet. So you want to just kind of dry fit it and see where it lies. So side panels on, fit this to the center of the panels, that way there's no interference. Then go ahead and kind of like, kind of fit that so it fits right in between the panels. And then once you do that, you want to outline this or go ahead and punch holes where these first 2 screws are. So install 2 screws first, which you'll be able to do easily. That way it will give you a location to start with. Once you do that, you can go ahead and install these screws here, but these screws are not where the Warrior Plate comes pre-drilled. I had to drill these further up because you're off the edge here and you're into the hole, the porting on the AirBox on this side. So because it's offset, you have to drill extra holes here through the Warrior Plate. So I did that and repositioned the screws and everything. I pre-drilled the AirBox, that way the screw does not push too much of the plastic out and create a problem. So pre-drill the plastic on the AirBox, and it's going to take some fitting, but most importantly, you want this centered to the side panels. That's my main kind of objective with this. But essentially, once you get your first 2 screws mounted, you have the plate in place, then you can go ahead and take care of the front screws, which you have to reposition and pre-drill and all that jazz. So this works out great. Once you have all your holes set and you know where your plate's going to be positioned, go ahead and try everything out. Make sure it works. Make sure it fits with the body panels. Put that black plastic piece in. And then once that's all good and you're comfortable, then take it all apart and then silicone the whole bottom plate, including around the strap, with RTV silicone, and then let it set for a day or 2. This stuff still stays wet a day or 2 after, so I would plan not to use the machine and just let it dry. So that's pretty much in a nutshell the CYA, or the SYA, I should say, Snorkel Your Own ATV Warrior Plate. So I'm going to go ahead now and kind of do kind of a time lapse or a hyper lapse of the whole process and show you kind of key moments and highlights of the install in kind of a faster pace. That way it's not too long of a video. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything ready on my XP1000, and once I'm done, it should look just like this. Alright, so moving along, I went ahead and removed all the panels on the machine, and I just want to show you what the top side of the AirBox looks like. This is the stock baffle and hood. I'm going to remove this. Mine just actually broke right there. That's a good thing, because I'm going to replace it. So that's what it looks like, top side of the AirBox. And the port that I'm talking about is right here. So we have to extend this out this way. So open it up and notch it out this way. That way we can offset that Warrior plate, and everything just runs fine because it's going to have nice smooth airflow. Otherwise you would have this blocking that port on the left hand side, and it would just not produce good flow, and you might have issues with performance and things like that. So we want a machine that runs right and is high performance. So this is what has to be done. Gonna go ahead now and prep this AirBox, cut out this, and then I will also scuff this up just about a ½ inch around the actual opening here with a stainless steel wire brush to scuff it up for the silicone adhesive, the RTV adhesive. That way it has a better adhesion to the box, to the plastic. I'm gonna go ahead now and do that. And I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like. Alright guys, so now I am progressing to dry fitting the SYA Warrior plate onto the AirBox with the side panels on, so you can get it centered to the panels. Very important to do this. You do not want to just go by the AirBox. The AirBox has a rotation in it and it's skewed. So you have to do this with the panels on. You want to keep in mind that that little black panel that goes on top here has to have tabs that go on either side of the tubes, and you don't want that to interfere with the fitment of that. So the black tabs on this cover have to be bent out with some heat, with a heat gun, and just kind of stretch them out so they kind of fall to the side. versus going straight up and down. So simple heat gun will take care of that. Just bend those tabs out, heat them up, and kind of squish them on a tabletop or a bench top, and they should squish out to the point where they would fit straight down the side here alongside the tubes. There's plenty of clearance here as long as you get this thing centered. So I've already dry fitted it with 2 screws. I have 2 more screws I have to pre-drill and install, but that's going to be just after this here. So right now the AirBox is all scuffed up, as you can see in there. It's kind of a lighter gray color. I went with a stainless steel brush and scuffed up the surfaces around the strap, as well as around that opening in the AirBox for the sealant, the silicone RTB. Now, you first want to center the plate and go ahead and mark out with a pick the holes. You just kind of scratch them out using the Warrior plate as a guide, and transfer that mark onto the AirBox, and then go ahead and pre-drill the plastic AirBox with a small drill bit. Then go ahead and install your screws to line up the Warrior plate so it locks it down. So we know it's centered. Once you get your alignment just right, see how there's a little bit of a play there? There's some generous wiggle room in the plate. Once you get it centered, then you can go ahead and tighten these screws down. Then remove the panels and install your front screws to hold everything down in place. You will have to pre-drill those as well. So pre-drilling is highly recommended. That way it just engages the plastic better. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of those front 2 screws and pre-drill those holes, and I'll get it ready to get it all silicone RTV'd. Okay, so I went ahead and finished off the front 2 holes. The holes are not going to be perfect. They're not going to be centered. They're going to look all skewed. Don't worry about that, but you want to fit it to the machine and to the AirBox, and you want to be on center line with the body and the chassis. So that's all set. This is all scuffed up, like I said. Very important. Scuff everything up. This is what I'm using. JB Weld Black RTV 100% silicone. This is the good stuff. This is going to provide a great seal. And I'm going to apply some on here first in the AirBox and then to the Warrior plate. Why can't I find my holes? That's great. Alright guys, so went ahead and finished up the snorkel plate. As you can see there, it's all siliconed, and pretty much it's ready to go. Everything fits back on the machine. I made sure of that. But you want to go ahead and make sure that before you use your machine, the silicone fully dries. So that means don't use it for at least 1 to 2 days. Let it sit and let it dry. As you can see here, the rest of the snorkel kit is all done as well and looks great. So check out part 1 of this video to see more details on the actual PVT housing vent and snorkel kit. I have that for sale, so check that out, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. But very good outcome with the tubing, how it fits, and the way it mounts to the actual PVT housing. So even though the snorkel plate is really not needed, I still kind of recommend it because it does push the intake further up and a little bit higher. So any kind of height that you can get is a really good thing. So I'm really happy with the way that came out. You just got to take your time with these things and do them right. That way they last a long time and you have great results. So go ahead and check out part 1. I think I covered everything with the install of the snorkel plate. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please place them right down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please go ahead and do so. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.